勝ちだ。おめえは一体何者だ。
What's piqued your interest over the last week? What piece of media have you found compelling or interesting over this last week, Monty? I think we actually have a similar answer.
Yeah, this time this might be a discussion than just giving what we've been watching because we might delve into like a spoiler discussion because we've been both been actually finished up recently with a anime called The Great Pretender from Netflix. So
Yeah,
man,
yeah.
I'll say my thoughts because I have a lot to say. But well, what'd you think of it that you just told me that you finished both seasons of the anime?
Well, I want to. So, The Great Pretender is an original Japanese crime comedy anime. It was a television series produced by Wit Studio. Yes, I am reading from Wikipedia. I just want to give y'all an overview of what The Great Pretender is.
Oh yeah.
And
How would
it's
you
about
describe it? How would you, if somebody told you, yo, what is Great Pretender? What would you, what would be your sell?
it's a it's a it's a it's a it's a spin on Robin Hood. So it's about con artists. The main characters are con artists, but they're con artists with a set of morals and principles, and they only swindle the rich and corrupt. So they only take away from the rich and corrupt. And I've never seen an anime show like this before, and I'm gonna put it all the way out there, bro. Like when I read I watched it because there was nothing else to watch, and I'm like, everybody knows I'm an anime fan, but I hadn't seen no fire anime recently, and Netflix kept like putting in this in my face every time I went to Netflix.com. Boom, The Great Pretender, and I've been hearing about it through the grapevine, and so I finally watched it, and I'm like, man, I'm probably not gonna get past 2-3 episodes of this, but next thing you know, man, I was like on episode 6 or 7 when I realized, like, oh. I, I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying a show that's about con artists and all of that. Um,
It's not just that, it's that it's con artists. It's just told really entertaining way with each episode, especially, once they reveal how they did everything. It's just damn, man. It's really really well written and really well just structured, and you just want to know how they fucking pull this shit off.
yeah. I agree with that. And I'm really iffy when it comes to comedy, especially anime comedy. I'm very picky. I don't like some of the greatest anime of all time, like Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. A lot of the weaker portions of that show is the comedy aspect of it. A lot of times animes just do not make me laugh. And then there's like what you have like mental chuckles. Like I'm pretty sure everybody relates to like finding something funny but not funny enough to where you physically laugh or chuckle. So it's like, oh, okay, I get it, ha ha ha, in your mind. But there were some times I genuinely laughed at this show. It's a crime comedy, but it isn't afraid to get dark at
Yeah.
times,
I wouldn't say
especially
it's
as
like straight up comedy. It's more lighthearted, I would say lighthearted and just has a more lighter tone,
yeah.
especially through the music too, man. I love the music on this anime. There's just jazzy soundtrack in the background just blaring a lot of times, and I loved it. It just really set the tone. And not even that plus also the animation, man. I love the animation, the colorful animation, and it doesn't really look like your typical anime. You know how a lot of Japanese anime they have like wider, bright, bigger eyes, and just everything's just. If you see like a typical anime, you could see like how it looks. It's very
hmm
different from that.
yeah. But Monty, to be fair though, you are still scratching the surface on like anime as
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
a
But I
medium, right?
definitely know what a lot of animes look like because I have my ear or eyes to the streets, man. I definitely know what a lot of them look like.
Yeah. But all I'm saying is like as you get deeper into anime though, like you're gonna find that it's a lot more variety than what's presented on the surface level. So like Great Pretender does have great animation, but you're gonna like there's gonna be shows I may recommend you where you're like, oh shit, like because the Great Pretender isn't with this animation style, it isn't like a trailblazer
Yeah.
in this type of style. Like there's a show called Bakano that came out in 2008. It has like a very jazzy sound and similar animation, but on
Isn't
this
that the
show particular.
anime where the main character is like a crocodile head, or is it like
No. I know that show too. That show's pretty dope too. We'll talk about that. I don't know if you've seen that show, but that show's
nah?
really good. But that's way newer though. The show
That
I'm talking about
also
came
really
out.
looks unique to me from an anime perspective.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't know if I would like it or not. But on the Great Pretender, though, yeah, man, it was well written. And then when they go into like how they pull certain things off, it was interesting. Now, I am a critic at the same
Oh
time,
yeah. Do you
so
want to
there is
delve into
level.
the spoiler section? More of a spoiler discussion.
Yeah, yeah, we can we
Yeah.
can.
Yeah,
And
if you don't want to hear this, any spoilers for this show, you could skip ahead probably 10 minutes or so.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, so the show's interesting because it starts off with what's the name? I'm always like bad with like names, especially Japanese ones in anime. Makoto is
Yeah,
the
yeah,
main
Makoto.
character's name, and it starts off with him just doing petty theft, petty crimes, pickpocketing and stuff like that until he meets somebody that's like a real world class con artist who basically shows him that there's levels to this, and he's just a mastermind. That guy's name is Laurent. Laurent brings him into like the world class level of con artistry, and basically they go to Hollywood, and their first big scam is to scam this Hollywood director guy who the Hollywood directing tag is just a front for him actually being somebody involved with selling drugs, and I think possibly engaged in trafficking, and but mainly selling drugs. And they basically finesse him by selling him candy, but they convince him that this candy is like the next big thing, the next big drug, and
That
they
that
have
episode, I would say, that they definitely included a lot of, over the top anime tropes. How remember the when I think her name is Abby, and she took the candy
yeah, yeah,
and that's
yeah.
definitely
She went nuts. Yeah,
yeah.
and that when I saw that, I'm like, man, I don't know if I don't know, but
But they still
it
they still knew when to do it and when to tone it down, man. That's what I liked about it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And as the show progresses, it gets like darker and darker. Like the bigger like the next operation, if you will, of the next person that they're going to like swindle. You find that it gets like their target gets a lot more corrupt, a lot more immoral. Uh, Especially the start of the second season where they're straight out infiltrating a human trafficking organization where they're actually selling kids and auctioning kids off. That shit was like, whoa, like
I have a
at
lot
the
of
beginning.
criticism when it comes to season two, but yeah, go ahead. We'll
Okay,
talk about
I
it.
got criticisms as well. Yeah, I got criticisms as well. I think overall it's a great
Yeah.
show that's like really really binge worthy,
Oh yeah, man.
like
I
really binge
love,
worthy.
usually with anime, sometimes so far what I've been watched, I actually, stop probably like I will probably watch one episode at a time or probably a couple episodes, but this episode was there's a reason this was a Netflix exclusive show, this was pretty breezy to go through, man. Pretty easy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. By the way, my favorite character has to, and it isn't because she's dark skinned, but I really do like Abby,
Oh
man.
yeah,
She's
yeah. I was gonna
badass.
say she's
She's
definitely really.
she's kick ass, bro, and she's just very
And I
clutch.
would
And
say
even though
this probably the one of the few animes I've seen where they portray like darker skinned people in a more, they portray them in a better light, I would say, because I haven't really seen. I'm not into too deep into like a lot of the animes, but as a casual, I would say this is probably one of the few times I've seen a lot of the darker skinned people, portrayed,
bro,
lot better, I would say.
I mean, one of the greatest animes of 2019 was The Promised Neverland, and look how they had that black maid looking.
Oh yeah, yeah. I forgot about that,
That
man.
was
That
bad,
was
bro.
man.
That was horrible. If you guys don't know, The Promised Neverland, great anime
Yeah,
show. Well, at
that's
least the
definitely one
first
of my
season.
favorites. But yeah, that's definitely a big criticism with that show.
Yeah, yeah. The Promised Neverland is a great show. I don't want to spoil that at all because I mean the first episode it just really grips you. I don't want to take that away, but basically they have a black maid in that show, and it's every negative black woman stereotype you can think of exhibited in that character, exaggerated like hips, lips, ears, eyes,
Man, yeah.
the mannerisms. It was bad. It was uncomfortable to look at,
See, we
bro.
could go
I
into
did.
like a deeper discussion about it too, because I feel like the writer or people behind this show they definitely have a more of a bigger grip on the American culture. This show definitely had a lot of American influence. Obviously, it's set in LA and a lot of different all over the world. But I feel like the people behind this show definitely knew a lot more about how to portray darker skinned people. Just had a more more. They're not as ignorant as maybe a lot of creators that are solely based on Japan, and they're not aware of a lot of the different cultures or different ways people live down
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I think I'll give it that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's true. That's true. You can definitely tell that there's like a worldly appreciation, or maybe even worldly experience with the creators of the Great Pretender or whatever. But season two dealt with like them infiltrating, human traffickers and robbing them of everything they got by manipulating the two rival Japanese and the biggest Japanese human trafficking organization and the biggest China one, and I think Shanghai, right? And so, they do their thing and they manipulate it. But I will say this, Monty, like the great, that last big one.
Man, that
It
was
was a
kind of
lot
over
of.
the top, man. I was like,
That's
did
what
y'all
I'm
really
saying,
build a
bro.
fucking like a whole house, like a whole, not even a house, whole freaking platform, like a building on an
Yeah,
island?
like a build.
It's
Yeah,
like, damn.
yeah, and then you had to suspend your
Yeah, yeah,
disbelief
yeah.
on a whole nother level than you did before.
Also,
You
yeah,
had to
yeah.
really like, and then like drugging them, make it like you drug them with their alcohol, and then they just wake up there. So and they don't have any complaints. Like, wait, what happened? Because when they fell asleep, they were like in a whole different country.
But I would
So you're
say
telling
the
me like
the
they were.
one excuse you could make that they already made a lot of money from their previous scheme, so they probably had, I don't know, help building it as exactly how they wanted. So I don't know. I
Mhm.
could probably excuse it a little bit if that was your
Right,
excuse,
right.
but it's still pretty crazy.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about the drugging part where they drug the two
Oh yeah,
bosses
yeah, yeah.
of the human trafficking rings, where they put something in their cup and then have them go to sleep for an absurdly long time, and then when they wake them up, they just happen to be there at the meeting.
Yeah, that's pretty
Like
easy. That's pretty
it's
like they're like they didn't really think
yeah,
it through
yeah,
that much because.
yeah, and not to mention like what took place. You see how they tried to give us the runaround with the main character looking like he's going to betray
Yeah.
the
Man, that
con
was too
artist team
much,
he's
man.
a part
I
of.
actually wish they pulled the Death Note type shit where, he kind of betrayed his dad and everybody. I wish they actually went through it. And I was like, damn, bro, this is another
Yeah,
scheme.
yeah,
It
because
kind of got old at that point.
yeah, and then Monty, not to mention all the people that they swindled
Yeah,
before
I was gonna bring that up, man. Like, now they're
becoming
friends. They
friends
just came through just like that.
and helping them and all that. Like Monty,
That
I
definitely brought
can't,
it
bro.
down,
That
man.
was
The
too
whole
much,
episode
dog.
was just. I feel like the finale of. I like the build up to the finale to the last second season, but how they revealed they did everything. I was like, man, this might be too much. This definitely brought it down. See, the first season was 4.5 out of 5 for me, and the second season was like three
Okay.
point five out of 5 for me. So it really brought it down like heavy.
Yeah, yeah, that's the thing. I'll give it like a three out of five to the second season. I'll give it like the first
First season
season.
was
I
fire, man.
really
I think I
enjoyed it.
like almost every arc, every episodes, and really like the backstories too. And I'll say another thing, man, with second season. Remember when they faked, went through all the deaths and where the main character had to kill everybody off, like not even everybody, his dad and pretty much the other two female characters, and pretty much throw them at
Yeah.
the river or the ocean. And
Yep.
after that,
Yep.
we're supposed to pretend that he actually didn't know, like he didn't really aware of the plan, and he actually went with the actually became friends with the boss, and he actually started actually going along with all the trafficking shit. Like, are we supposed to pretend that he was gonna live through all that shit? He actually became a bad guy for a couple episodes, then went back to being good again. Like, he was doing some child trafficking shit. It's not some just this not just
Yeah,
stealing or some
bro.
shit. This like some real life shit, scary shit that you're
Yeah,
doing.
man.
Like then we're
The
supposed to pretend he's good again, and also with the plan, and it's I don't know, bro.
It was, bro. I'm not gonna lie. It was a letdown. The only reason I'm not gonna give it like, because if any other anime would have pulled it off, first off, I wouldn't have watched the whole thing because there was just a lot of different little things where I'm like, this just isn't
Yeah,
believable. Even in the context of
yeah, yeah,
anime,
yeah.
and anime, they stretch believability in anime, but even in the context of anime, I'm like, oh, this hurts to watch. But I'll still give it like a 3 out of 5 for second season, just out of the fact that like I was
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
engaged. I still liked it. Like I still the characters. Let
Really
me just say
great.
that the characters are the number one thing of this show. Like even though it stretched the believability, I just wanted to see where these characters ended up because I was invested in them. They had depth to them.
Also, another thing with the ending, remember, I forgot the name, but she was the love interest for, Laurent.
Yeah, I know, yeah, and she, oh yeah, that was a big reveal where like she was, the main love interest of Laurent was somebody that was supposed to have died, and this last big scam was supposed to be the last big con artist swindle of the 21st century was, or how do I say it? Hold on,
I
let
think
me get my
she,
thoughts together.
Cynthia, right? That's
So
the character's name.
okay,
Yeah.
Cynthia. So Cynthia and Laurent had a history, and she died trying to pull off their last great big scam. They were going to retire from being con artists, but she ended up dying,
And
and
she
of
had her,
course Laurent
she had
got
her hands
depressed.
handcuffed when she was shot. And that's another thing we're supposed
Yeah,
to pretend.
bro.
Like this show cannot, commit to killing any characters. Like I don't think I remember any characters being killed. And obviously, one of the message of the show was that we don't kill when we do what we do, but still there should be consequences. So next time it does happen, it's like I'm not gonna believe it, and I feel like they're gonna
Yeah,
bring him
yeah,
back,
yeah, yeah.
bring whoever they kill back in later seasons or later episodes. So it's like it's kind of that was disappointing too, bringing her back. I feel like that kind of
Yeah, man, because like they shot, she was on the boat. She had her hand, she was handcuffed. They shot her, presumably in the head. She fell back. And you're telling me on the last big reveal of season two was that, oh, she washed up on an island
yeah.
somewhere? That's not how that works.
Also,
And
yeah.
she had,
Also, when
uh huh.
they all get killed, like when they fake getting killed in the ocean, like are we supposed to pretend that nobody got shot in the head? Like if you're like a bad guy, like a gangster, like I would think if you want to make sure they die, you would shoot them in the head, right? So
Yeah. It's
yeah,
execution shootings. That's literally a mark of the mob. That's the mark of criminal underworld, organizations. Like shoot them in the head, so we know there's no chance that they. Yeah, man. Yeah, like that little ketchup packet that they have in their coat and the bulletproof vest or whatever. That doesn't work for your head,
see,
for
with
your
anime, you
face.
could get away with a lot
So
of this stuff because it's anime, it's animation, so it's not as
yeah.
with live action. It's not as easy to pull off because live action is more reality based or real. So obviously, obviously it seems like we have so many criticisms, Ben, but I still enjoyed the hell out of this anime.
Yeah. I would still recommend it if you need
Yeah,
something to binge. Is even if you're like like one of those, if you're a
yeah,
casual
yeah,
anime watcher like my man Monty, or if you're one of, I wouldn't mind it being somebody's first or
yeah.
second or
This is a
third
great
anime. I
anime to
still look
watch
at
for casuals. Obviously like me.
Yeah. I still hold Death Note as the greatest gateway anime ever because like a lot of times people have their preconceived notions of anime, and Death Note shatters it because of how serious it takes
Yeah.
itself. A lot of people coming in anime like, oh, that cartoony stuff, Dragon Ball Z, Kamehameha, all that shit. Like, nah, bro, it gets deeper, it gets dark. Like, you got to respect anime as a medium.
Yeah.
I feel like, and Death Note does that to a T. And then look at the Great Pretender, which is a lot more lighthearted and comedic. But yeah,
Yeah.
man, great show. The Great Pretender is a great show. I will say this though, Monty. I saw the trailer of Alice in Borderland.
Oh,
It
you
piqued my
definitely got to
interest. It
see it,
piqued my
man.
interest.
The
It piqued
anime,
my
they had an
interest.
anime too with that show, but it wasn't that great. So you definitely got to watch the live action because I think they really did a good
Yeah.
job with the
You
live
watched
action
all of
show.
it?
Yeah, yeah, I finished it.
Okay. Is there like a good plot twist and turns?
Oh yeah, yeah. There's definitely plot to it, so you got to watch out for that.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. See, I'm excited to watch. Let me ask you this though. When I watched the trailer, it was in English. Did you watch the show in English or with English
Do not
subtitles?
out, man. See, it's interesting. I was gonna discuss this another time, maybe,
Okay.
but with anime, I could tolerate English dubs. Actually, they're not as bad, and it's actually passable because it's animation. But with live action, man, dubbing is like I don't know. Dubbing is terrible. It doesn't sound that great. It sounds terrible. It just doesn't sound realistic. But yeah, I try to watch everything live action with subs on because dubs are just terrible, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I would say like from the live action shows I've or movies I've seen when it comes to like films made in Japan, Korea, India, Mexico, Brazil, it seems like the English dubs are typically trash. Like the mouth movements and all that.
Yeah,
With anime, they're a lot more successful because they can just make it's just lip flaps in anime at the end of the
yeah,
day.
yeah, yeah.
But in live action, like you actually looking at like the movements of the lips and the tongue move, it just doesn't match
Also, they
up.
hire like with anime, they hire more people who know how to probably do voiceovers better. With live action, I feel like they just hire just anybody, and
Oh yeah, the pool of talent, the pool of
yeah,
talent,
yeah, yeah,
and who knows? They could go through a renaissance phase because I don't know if you know, but early '90s, like there are some hilarious old school Dragon Ball Z dubs, Monty. Like
yeah.
one of these days, I'm gonna show you. But like anime used to have really bad English dubbers, bro. Like people that you might have thought that they just grabbed from a after their shit, like grab somebody that works at a gas station, like, hey, can you come do this? You speak English, or, and it sounds like that. And when
Yeah.
you hear the dubs in other languages, it's hilarious. And then like sometime in like the what early 2000s, mid 2000s, the English dub started getting a lot more of their respect with shows like Death Note, with shows like Bakano, uh, uh, starting to gain more respect on English voice actors because before the mid 2000s, English dubs were like all the elitists would laugh at you if you said that you watch the English dub. Now,
Yeah.
now it's like okay, whatever. It's all about your preference. But okay,
Over the
so if I
years,
watch,
yeah, gotten a lot better with anime does, but yeah, live action is still mostly terrible.
yeah, yeah, okay. So Alice in Borderland, English subtitles, and yeah, I'll definitely end up checking it out
I'm surprised a
sooner or
lot of
later.
people don't know this manga. Like usually these type of Alice in Borderland, these type of shows are they have great manga fan base, but a lot of people didn't know about this anime. And I think
Mm,
somebody explained it to me that they didn't really actually have any official English version of the mangas.
right.
So probably that's why. That might have been the
That
reason why
and
the show
and,
never took
and
off.
a lot of movies that pop culture consumes didn't watch the or didn't read the source material because like in America a lot of our favorite films are based on books that were authored, right? So it's almost like I mean a great story is a great story, and so a lot of times they'll turn books that a lot of people don't know about into film and then people fall in love with it. So I think even if a lot of people didn't know about the manga, if it's a good story, it's a good story. So hopefully it will translate. And yeah, Monty, like yeah, you recommended me quite a few things. I haven't watched all your recommendations, but everyone that I have watched, I've been sufficiently pleased with. So I'm hoping Alice in
Yeah.
Borderland continues
Also,
that.
I'll with Alice in Borderland, yeah, the beginning is really good. I would say in the not the middle, like just few episodes right when it's ending, it might have been like I don't know about this, but they really bring it back at the end though. I feel like they
Okay,
do
okay,
do a
okay. You're
really
just
good
giving me a
job.
warning. You're giving me a warning to like stick it through, because the end it's worth it.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay.